Welcome to the dark side of BEASTwriter. I'm your host, Ryan Sakamoto. We are coming in hot today. We have a live guest on this live stream as we discuss the 2023 draft class. There's some diamonds in the rough that really no one is talking about. Here's a guy that I actually covered, got to know, became friends with. That's Nehemiah Shelton from San Jose State University, my hometown, born and raised in San Jose. We are going to go ahead and talk about and bring in my guy, Nehemiah Shelton, in just a moment. But thank you, everyone, for subscribing to the channel and really supporting everything that we do here in the DOB. And again, we wouldn't be here without you guys in my corner. So again, the DOB family is growing. But like I said yesterday, there's people stealing my content, passing it off as their own, and that's just a big no-no. So that needs to stop. I think that's morally wrong. That's very unethical. So if you see it, stop it, call it out, and call it what it is. If it's a spade, it's a spade, right? So here we go. We're going to go. We're not going to delve too much into it. You know, we're going to leave no stone unturned in talking to Nehemiah Shelton. Let's bring in my guy right now. You guys know, if you guys watched me and watched the East-West Shrine game, this guy came up with a big INT. Nehemiah Shelton, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Ryan?
I am doing awesome now that you're on. So
appreciate you for having me.
Oh man, bro, we're boys. What do you expect? What do you think this whole draft, like what has this whole draft process been like for you leading up? Obviously, I got to know you at the East-West Shrine Bowl. If you guys haven't caught his exclusive interview with me, we talked a little bit about what Nehemiah brings to the table. But you know, leading up to that game, something that I saw in your game was you're very, very attention to detail oriented. Where did you learn that from?
Football. I mean, football brings out the best in you. I mean, the best character, the best attention to detail, the best focus. Just playing football at a high level all my life. Definitely, you got to pay attention to little details at all times.
All right, here's a question for you. I know this is a random question. We're going off topic here, but Mr. Shelton, this is from my guy, What's Up, G? He says, who are you most excited to match up against in the NFL?
Probably Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. They some great athletes. I mean, I want to go out there and compete against the best. So those are the ones that are the up-and-coming stars in the league right now, and I want to play against them.
Bruh. That is something I saw in your game, is like you're very competitive. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, because that's something that I don't know what that is. You have that swagger. Every boundary quarterback has a chip on their shoulder, has that swagger. We all seen it, right? But you actually, like, you mean what you say. Like, you really want to go up against the best. Like, you hate.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
For sure. Yeah. That is something I saw in your game very early on. I was really impressed with that. All right, so let's go ahead and break it down. There's some questions that I want to go ahead and talk to you about. Obviously, this is Raiders-centric here in the dark side of BEASTwriter. I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard the Raiders are interested in you. What was that conversation like at the Shrine Bowl? And then also, did they meet with you at the Hula Bowl as well?
Yeah, I talked to pretty much every team at the Hula Bowl and the East-West. Pretty much the conversations mainly just consisted of my character and my knowledge of the game, what I could bring to the table, things of that nature.
So let's talk about that knowledge of the game. You have a high football intelligence. This is something that I saw in your game. Film study, how much is that a big part of the process when preparing for an opponent?
I feel like film study is the biggest part of anything, especially if you play defense. I mean, the offense is giving you a cheat sheet right in front of you. So it's your job to go in, film, see exactly what they're doing, what they like to do. And that just all comes down from how you're breaking it down. So, you know, some offenses love to do tendencies through their personnel sets, whether that's 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 13 personnel, and you can kind of get a beat on their offense through that, or you can kind of look at the formation or where they're putting their top players to try to get them the ball. And that's pretty much how you break it down, and you kind of really get the beat on the game and get the upper hand.
All right, we're going to put you on the board right now. I'm joking.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's go ahead. You're very smart. I am very
appreciate that. Awesome. Take time, though. It takes time.
I know. People think, okay, this is another thing. People say, oh, I watch film. It's like, okay, in order to watch film, you have to know what to look for, right? Like,
definitely.
You can't just watch, like, if you watch a 2-hour movie with, like, Remember the Titans, and you have no idea what Remember the Titans is about, then you just wasted 2 hours of your life, even though you watched it. So, like, you have to know what to look for. And you're, like, some people get it, you get it.
Exactly. You got to know what to look for. You got to write it down and stuff like that. And it took me a while too. Even when I first started off in junior college, I wasn't the biggest film guru. I didn't really believe in film too much. I was like, oh, I don't want to be second guessing in the game, and this might happen, that might happen. But if you really pay attention to detail and study it, you know, it's going to end up coming to fruition when you're out there. So.
Absolutely. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about two other teams that you have pro days with. You have pro days, or what's called a local pro day, with the San Francisco 49ers coming up. I know that for a fact. And you also have one with the Los Angeles Chargers. What do you hope to prove there at those local pro days?
I feel like I've proved everything I need to be, everything that needs to be proved at this point. I mean, both of those teams got to see me up close and personal at the Hula Bowl and the East West. So they know my playmaking ability, that I can play and compete at the highest level with the best of us. I really just hope to go out there, do what's asked of me, dominate what's asked of me, and go out there and put on a show, have a great workout, and get to know them a little more.
That's what's up. All right. So my guy, What's Up G, says, Mr. Shelton, what has been your most memorable play that you replay in your mind over and over again?
Oh, this for sure is my my first play ever, actually, at D1. I got in Washington State. I wasn't planning on playing. You know, I'm a freshman. I'm just going along with the just traveling and whatnot. And I actually got called in to go to the game in like the second quarter. And it was like Shelton. And I didn't even have my helmet. So I'm like, like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm about to get in. And we're playing against Washington State. You know, it's our first out-of-conference game. It's a packed house. So they called me to go in. And my first play, I ended up getting a pick on Gardner Minshew. And it was like the first play, like I stepped on the field. Like, you know, not the first play to me. It was the first play I stepped on the field. We was in cover 2. We were actually in cover 3, but I was a flat corner. We were kicking over to the boundary side. So I kicked, came down the flat, got a reroute on the receiver, and he threw it almost out of bounds, and I one-handed it and brought it to my body. And I'll never forget that play.
So you said it was a cover 2, then it was a hybrid cover 3 based on the play side of the play. And so basically the quarterback, for those who don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, the quarterback thought you were impressed, but then you were actually just playing the flat, correct?
Yeah, so I'm off, and we're kicking to my side. So I'm going to come down, play flats. The safety's going to kick over, play my third. The other safety kicks over and plays the post, and then the corner on the backside, he's going to play his third.
So it's a post-snap rotation.
Yes, sir.
All right. I love talking football. People are probably like, what the heck are they talking about?
Exactly.
That's film study.
Film study, exactly.
That's film study. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about your San Jose State Pro Day, right? You just wrapped up your San Jose State Pro Day. Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard from a source that you were dealing with a hamstring strain. Now, I don't know if that's true, so I'm going to ask you on here. First and foremost, is that true? And if it was, why did you decide to run the 40 with a hamstring strain?
Yeah, it's crazy. You can't hide anything nowadays. But yeah, that's true. That's true. I strained my hammy about a little less than 2 weeks before the pro day. Ooh. However, I know that I got to go out there and compete, and there's a job that needs to be done that's required of me. So the competitive nature in me, I'm going to still get out there and do it at the best of my ability. So I still decided to run it and do everything needed to be done in the pro day.
So you decided to run the 40, not tell anyone that you had a hamstring strain, because you had that competitive drive to just compete. And
Yes, sir. Yeah, I didn't even tell my agent until about probably the day of or the day before, I believe, or something like that. But yeah, I didn't want to tell no one. I just wanted to go out there and compete, and no one think I had any excuses or anything like that.
Well, there you have it. So my source was right.
Yes, sir.
That is crazy that you ran the 40 and you had a hamstring strain. That is dope, bro. That is competitive.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because some people will not run the 40. They're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I have a hamstring strain. And you know, a lot of people fake it too. They say,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm talking
about. Yeah, you know, it's the game.
It's the game.
Some people try to cheat it. Some people don't.
There you go. That's the competitive nature. Boop. Box checked for Nehemiah Shelton. All right. So let's go ahead. We got some questions for you. There's a question here on Twitter. let me go back to it because I asked some people on Twitter on asking you some questions and what you wanted to know and something like that. So let's see. Let's go ahead and look at some of those questions that are on here. Someone asked me on Twitter, "Oh, what do you love about football?"
I just love the competitive nature of the game. I've been playing it since such a little kid. I let it go out there and do the mano-a-mano battle, the one-on-one. You know, who worked harder this week? Who put in the most preparation? Who's ready to go out here and play and dominate? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I've always loved about the game, to be able to go out there and just compete against the other dude. But at the same time, you're doing it as a team, as a collective. So which team was able to come together in a short amount of time and be able to put their best work together?
Oh, there you go. So would you consider yourself a team player?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
The funny thing is, I ask a lot of players about that in that question. Are you a team player? And logically, you think a player would say yes. And then you ask them and you delve more into the behind the scenes kind of a deal, like the in-depth question. And like, it sounds like they're more of a selfish player.
Yeah.
Player. Yeah. Oh man. But that, when I interviewed you at the Shrine Bowl, I asked you those types of questions, right? And then you obviously, you can tell you were genuine, that you were actually a team player. But there's something, man, like, would you rather have like 5 touchdowns or win the football game? I'd rather have 10 touchdowns. Like, what?
Nah, you got to win that game, because at the end of the day, you need that team to win that championship.
I know.
And I want rings.
I know. Oh, look at, we have people here that are Raider fans. My man Daniel Kim, he's one of my Raiders. He says, "I'm on my phone on the live because I'm with the kids. I'll do what I can." So, so he's on here. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to some of the questions that I have for you. Obviously, you were dealing with a hamstring injury, just wrapped up your San Jose State Pro Day. Let's talk a little bit about your strengths. We talked a little bit about that at the East West Shrine Bowl interview process, but you cited again your film study. We talked a little bit about that film study and why it's important. But for someone who's like in high school, like let's say someone's in high school or in college or community college and doesn't really know how to look at film, what's the first step in that process of knowing how to identify what to look for when evaluating game film?
I would definitely say formation.
Okay.
When you start to kind of look at the personnel, when you got those really good offensive coordinators that are really good at hiding their tendencies, but I feel like in high school and junior college and kind of a little bit of the lower division type of football, I feel like you can definitely look at the formation and start getting a beat on what they like to do. So if they like a lot of 2x2, you better start looking at those 2x2s and see exactly what route combinations are coming out of those. And then same thing for 3x1, or seeing where their top player is when he gets the ball.
People are going to get confused by 2x2. They're thinking, what is that, a box? No, it's 2
2x2
on the right side, 2x2. 2 receivers on the left side, 3x1 trips formation to the left or strong side, and the opposite is whatever the case may be. So it's, so it's 3x1, 2x2. So people understand, like when I tweet that stuff out, I know for a fact people get confused, and so they just kind of tune me out. But then the people that actually watch this, they actually have some concept of it, because I try to teach them on this YouTube channel, what these formations mean, like what's the down and distance of it, why it's important to not just grade the box score, you have to grade the snap, right? Because too many times over, like let's say a receiver makes a catch in front of you, right? But it's like, okay, well, you were in off man coverage and now it's 4th down, so that's actually a good play on your part because you're not playing behind the six. But some people, oh no, man, like he gave up so much in coverage. I was like,
exactly. At the end of the day, you got to follow the game plan. But the easiest way for me when I talk to younger people, to break it down to them, I always try to tell them, I know all of you guys play Madden, you guys play video games, so think about it as a video game. You go out there, you play with whichever team you play with, you always choose your offense, right?
Right.
I know for a fact everyone has those 5 in particular plays that they use that they're gonna be like, okay, this is gonna be open. Or this 3rd, 4th down, I need to get a 1st down, or I need to score right now. This is what I'm gonna call. And that holds true when you start playing at this level or any other level of football. Offensive coordinators are thinking the exact same thing. Okay, we run this play all the time in practice. This works. When we run it in the game, this time it works. So you just got to look for those little keys when they come out in a formation. Like, okay, they're about to run it. It's 3rd down again. They hit us on this last time. Okay, they're probably about to come back to it. If they're not going to come back to it now, I need to watch out for that formation, because they're probably going to come back into it later in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. What is there's a question here for you. I'm going to get to it. Here it is. Mr. Shelton, defensive scheme. What defensive scheme do you think you'll fit perfectly in? So for me, before you answer that question, I think if I was to say something about your game, I think you're scheme diverse. I don't think you're scheme dependent. One, because you're very long. I wish I was 6 foot, bro, but I'm only 5'5". You know what I'm saying? Like, to talk to you, I'd be standing on the box like Ian Rap sheet, bro. Like, just be.
Nah, I couldn't tell when we were talking. I couldn't tell. you were about right here.
Nah, I was short as hell, bro. But dynamite comes in all sizes and packages, right? So,
yes, sir.
For you, I think you can play in the press. I think you can play off, and I think it doesn't matter if it's a cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, or even single high, because you have that length. And one thing about you is you don't have to be the fastest guy. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but before you answer this question, you can drop your own 2 cents in here. But I think what gives you the edge over a lot of these defensive backs out there is your film study. So you can cheat over, and I talked about it yesterday, how a linebacker who runs a 4.8 can be one of the best linebackers in the game because he's cheating his pre-snap split from maybe the opposite hash to the plate side hash because he knows based on the formation that you just talked about. And I see that in your game. Is that something that you also see in your game? Or
I definitely agree.
Okay.
I definitely feel like I could play in whichever scheme I'm put in. Definitely scheme diverse, how you said. I come from a cover 3 type of scheme, zone type of scheme, defense. However, I feel like I could play man whenever or play zone whenever. So as long as you have what's up here, the brain and the intelligence of the game, you can definitely play in any scheme, especially when it comes to defense, because you can cheat. But you got to also know when to cheat and how to cheat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of cheating, there's people that are cheating that watch my live stream and then they write stuff down and they pass it off as their own information. So that I'm being serious.
Cheater, stop.
Yeah. Cheater, stop. Stop right now.
Stop.
It's crazy, bro. And it happened with the Niners too. So this isn't my first rodeo. Remember I told you I was coming from the 49ers, now coming to the Raiders. So, I mean, there's people out, the internet is such a nature of its beast of its own. So that's why people are like, man, like this has to stop. Cause like people who follow me are like, man, nah, B said that like 3 weeks ago, or even like 4 months ago. You know what I mean? Like it still holds true. So it's weird, man. But it is what it is. I guess one of the followers says, from the 808 from Hawaii, he says, oh man, you should take it as a compliment. But I'm like, okay, that's cool. I can take it as a compliment, but it's stealing money out of my back pocket because I get paid based on my analysis and, posting the videos and my content and then providing the grades and everything. So yeah, it's not cool, bro. That's not the Bay Area rooted way.
Nah.
All right. My man, what's up, Z says, Mr. Shelton, Coach Carter was a former Hammer dancer, like MC Hammer dancer. Who is your favorite hip hop artist? Is it Hammer, Too Short, or E40?
Oh, shout out to Coach Carter, first of all. I'm probably have to go with E40. E40 do got them bangers, but I also want to say Hammer because when I was younger, my parents knew Hammer and his wife. So
wait, what?
Yeah,
tell us that story.
I was actually born in Tracy, California.
Okay.
So Tracy's a little down the road,
right near Mountain House.
Exactly, near Mountain House. And they used to live out there and go to the same church as we did.
Oh.
Yeah, so my mom's pretty good friends with his wife.
That's crazy. When I was a kid, they used to be, this is how old I am, bro. I know you don't believe I'm 40 or turning 40. You're like, man.
You don't look like it. Not even close.
How old did you think I was?
Like late 20s, early 30s.
Okay.
Not even trying to be nice, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping it 100.
Yeah. Always keep it 100. Now I'm turning 40.
For sure.
No, so I'm old is what I'm saying. So like back in the day, this is before you were born, I think. Well, definitely before you're born. There was a thing called BK Knights, British Knights. There were the tennis shoes that I don't even think they make them anymore. Shout out to BK Knights. Anyways, MC Hammer had like this endorsement deal with them where he would do the hammer dance and then be a commercial on it with those big old baggy pants. I swear, big old baggy pants. And I would be like, mom, I want to be like MC Hammer. I want those BK Knights. And I got those BK Knights. I got to show you a picture of it. I had hair before. I don't have hair now. But as a kid, we keep it 100 in here, bro.
Yeah, we keeping it 100.
So long story short, MC Hammer will always live in my heart simply because not only did he get those BK Knights that were kind of like endorsed by him, it came with a hammer like cassette tape, which you have no idea what a cassette tape is. You
Nah, I know exactly what it looked like, but yeah, we ain't got to use those in my generation.
Yeah, so that's a backstory there. That's cool that you know MC Hammer. That's I didn't know about that. All right, so let's go ahead and break it down. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these other teams. Obviously, you talked to the Raiders, Niners, Chargers. There's another team on the rise here, and they actually got a first glimpse of you. And that, again, let's talk about going back to the East-West Shrine Bowl and talking to a source familiar to the situation. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong. The Falcons really liked your game throughout the bowl practices and then leading up to the game where you had a big INT. They actually labeled you as one of the most improved. First of all, is that correct? And correct me if I'm wrong. It's okay if I'm wrong. It's rare, but is my source correct, number one? And two, what was that feeling like when they went ahead and said that you were one of the most improved? Like how did you receive that information?
Yes, it's true. One of the coaches had told me that, and I felt pretty good about myself. Just knowing that, you know, it feels great to finally be noticed. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a smaller school like San Jose State, you don't necessarily get the same publicity and love as, you know, all the Power 5 schools and whatnot. So it was great to go out there to the East-West where you got all these dudes from all these different conferences and these big names, and to go out there and be noticed amongst them. And they got great talent and ability as well. So it was just great, and it was a blessing.
Here's a question from Phil Romero says, are you looking forward to locking up horns with Devontae Adams if you had a chance to play with him?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You know, he's from the Mountain West, too. So, you know, we got to get that Mountain West work. You know, iron sharpen iron. You know, everyone be, you know, some people be downplaying the Mountain West. So I can't wait to go up against him. He's one of the best. Yeah, it's going to be great.
That's the right way. Iron sharpens iron mentality. Keep talking about it. There's some players, I will say this, they don't like the iron sharpens iron mentality. Let me tell you why. Because job security is everything to them. They don't like when their job is being threatened. But at the end of the day, it's the NFL. Your job is going to be threatened regardless. So, like,
exactly.
When people,
the only way to get to be the best is to go through the best. So that's the mentality you really got to have. I mean, you know, especially in the league, it's a dog-eat-dog world. So you're going to go get up there and compete, or, you know, you're going to get left.
Exactly. No, absolutely. And it's funny how people are like, they feel so secure in their positions, whether it be like that they don't like like for me, like in the media, like I like it when someone's better than me or that says, you know, because it raises my game by default.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise I get left behind in the shuffle. So I always tell people here, even here on the DLB, like, you know, there's always someone that's going to be better than me. Right. I mean, this world's way too big. I want to go up against those guys. Like, like, let me go up against those guys. Cause otherwise, we'll be on the same wavelength with everyone else, and then year after year, it's just a vicious cycle all the time, and no one's getting it. No one's improving because there's no need to improve because no one's pushing you to be a better player, or a better reporter, or a better like analyst, or whatever you call yourself, right? So, content creator, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I'm the same line thinking, man. I want to go up against the best. I've always been that way. Maybe that's a Bay Area thing, bro. I don't know. Honestly, to be
it just might be.
No, for real though, right? In the Bay Area, think about it. In the Bay Area, you have to grind it out just to make it. No matter where you come from.
People out here is very competitive too. You know, in the Silicon Valley. So it doesn't matter if you're doing tech or you playing sports or you into this or into that. You got to compete.
That's a Bay Area swag right there. I'm telling you right now. All right. Do you have any hobbies outside of sports? I know we talked about this at the East-West Shrine Bowl, but go ahead and let them know your hobbies. I know what you're going to say right now.
I play video games. That's my biggest hobby. Film and chilling. Other than that,
that's something that you'd like to do to unwind. I remember when I talked to you because sometimes you need to decompress, right? Like you can only watch film for so much, and then your mind just like it's just like studying for a final, right? Like it takes. I mean, you need a mental break. Same thing with me, and so I actually I wish I had video games to play with. Actually, I do on my phone, but. Didn't bring
you ain't got the PlayStation or the Xbox or not.
I got that back in the Bay, bro. I left it in the Bay on purpose because I was like, I'm gonna be on that thing all the time. Not as much as Kyler Murray though.
Oh, he be on it, huh? Yeah. That Warzone be addicting. The Madden be addicting. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta know how to balance it out.
My guy Daniel Kim says, Beast, we got to get this guy in silver and black. He's a dog, and we can't have enough of these in our secondary. Yeah, AC, look, all these people, man, like. They seen what you did at the East-West Shrine Bowl. Good things, like so many good things have been said about you. And that's one of the reasons. Remember when I interviewed you, there was only like a handful of people I interviewed. I keep telling people I had my choice of interviewing
Mm-hmm.
anyone. You were like
Yes, sir.
a handful of like maybe 6 or 7 that I interviewed. And the reason I interviewed the guys that I interviewed because I saw what I needed to see at the East West Shrine Bowl, who I think would be playing and be a fit for the Raiders, right? Because this is Raider
Yes,
centric
sir.
and a good fit. So hopefully, you get your shot with the Raiders. I would love to see you in the silver and black. I think you have that swagger. I like your toughness. I think you're very physical and you're very, very smart. I mean, if you have those intangibles at the next level, I mean, I think you're in good shape. Daniel Kim says,
Sure.
who do you, okay, again, another question that I asked you already, but who do you model your game after and whose mind would you like to pick to grow as a person and as a player?
That's a great game. A great question. I feel like I model my game after myself. I mean,
Mm,
I feel like I'm unique in my own way. However, I do like to pick and take stuff from certain people's game, like Jalen Ramsey. Obviously, another lone corner like myself is very aggressive and likes to, get in a receiver's face and kind of talk and play the mental game with them. So I like doing that. But at the end of the day, I just like to be me. I want to be the first Nehemiah Shelton. You know what I'm saying?
You know who else? Oh gosh, that's funny that you said that. It resonates with something. I was doing some draft coverage going back to 1990 recently, and there was a guy. Oh, so I was looking at this, and Manti Te'o. Do you know who Manti Te'o is? So I was going back to all the, you read all through this stuff. So Manti Te'o is a former linebacker, and he played for the
Mm-hmm.
Chargers, and then he picked Notre Dame over USC because
Yep.
he wanted to be the first Manti Te'o at Notre Dame, not
Mm-hmm.
just another poly
Yeah.
from USC. So I thought that was really interesting. The fact that you said that, I like that. Yeah, the same thing that I think it is a Bay Area thing. Because same thing when I joined Phi Kappa Psi, my fraternity at San Diego State. I had my choice of joining any house, whether it be SAE, Phi Kappa Psi, Sigma Nu, and so they asked me, and I rushed all of them, and I chose Phi Kappa Psi because it's easy when you're going to the number one house. We're all top houses, but when you're at the top
Mm-hmm.
house, it's easy to stay at the top. I wanted to build something from the ground up and say, and look
Mm-hmm.
back after my college time is over. Hey, look, we were third. Now
Look
we're
what we
one.
did.
Yeah. I love
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Most definitely.
on to 60 says, Mr. Shelton, defense. Well, we already talked about this. Okay. So, oh, here's a good one. What team did you grow up rooting for as a kid?
Niner Nation. Niner Nation, baby.
Are you
Bang
serious?
bang Niner gang. Yes, sir.
Of course, because you're from the Bay. I
But
can't say I
exactly, I'm
did
from the
either.
Bay, but hey, now I love every team, whichever one wants to give me the opportunity to go play for them and, make a name for myself. I'm with it.
All right, here's one for you. All right. So if things aren't going your way, right, who do you rely on for moral support when things don't go your way? Oh,
God,
okay.
God,
Okay.
my spiritual higher self. Just talking to myself. I mean, at the end of the day, uh, God can get me through whatever I need to be
Mm,
done. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. What is that's actually a good answer. And an honest answer and a real answer. Because are you Christian or Catholic, if you don't mind me asking?
Christian,
Okay,
Christian.
so I'm Christian too. So like I find that, reading the Bible really helps. It brings things from another perspective, right? Like it really does. And so I won't get all too spiritual with, all religious or anything, but it really does put things in perspective from a different uh source, if you will, rather
Yeah,
than, because your friends can tell you something, your family members can tell you something, but when you hear it from the man upstairs, it just resonates a little bit differently.
it
So I
resonates definitely differently with you. And I mean, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. You know what I'm
oh,
saying? What you're manifesting, what you want to happen. So a lot of the times, even when I'm just thinking something, whether it's good or bad, it ends up happening. And I started to really tune in and tap into that.
all right, we're talking to Nehemiah Shelton. Nehemiah, you are killing this interview, by the way. We're getting a lot of good feedback here. Okay, so here's a question for you. It's kind of like a curveball. What's something that scouts don't know about you that maybe you would want them to know?
I'm not
Or
gonna lie. I feel like they know everything about me.
that's what I was
I
just
mean, you
gonna
can't
say.
hide
Okay.
nothing. You can't hide nothing from. They pretty know everything about me. I'm an open book, to be honest.
That's what's up, man. You are an open book. Okay. So with that being said, if you guys have questions, we're gonna open it up as long. Let's see here. How long do you have? How much time do you have?
I got all the time in the world today.
All right,
Knocked
cool.
out my workouts, everything I needed to
Let's talk
do.
about that. So Nehemiah, everybody knows that I work out as that's my other 9 to 5 that I do outside of covering the NFL and the Raiders. So I purposely missed my workout waiting for you. Just joking, I wasn't. It was like that. But I really took a day off because I was just like, man, my muscles are weak right now. What did you work out today? So Nehemiah, if you guys don't know, you guys aren't going to know because that's kind of whatever. But Nehemiah had to get his workout in. You have a daily routine that you have leading up to this draft process, right? Like you work out, you eat at certain times, and then you have. What's your schedule like? Like, give us a life in the day of Nehemiah Shelton.
Well, right now I'm getting ready for these workouts. So typically I'm gonna wake up, get with my boys that I used to train with when I was up here. They're still going to San Jose State or junior for Hoko, and some of the other guys that are in the same process as me. And we get out there, run, lift together, do mobility and some treatment together, and go eat, and then we chill out for the day. And
here's the story that I want to talk about. Remember, and obviously, if you guys don't know, Javelin Guidry, we talked about Javelin Guidry's brother.
Yeah.
He was on your team, right? So we talked a little about that. But then also when that San Jose State football player who was on your team was tragically passed away, you were the one that brought that to light, correct? Like you were the one that notified everyone on the football team. Can you just take us back through that and how that kind of transpired and what was going through your mind when all that stuff went on this past season?
Yeah, it was a crazy experience. I mean, it was really tragic that happened. I mean, we were just waking up like it was a normal day, getting ready to go travel to go play New Mexico State. I was on my way driving to go pick up Elijah Guidry and Michael Dansby, two of the corners in my room, to go pick them up and get to the facility a little early so, we can get ready for meetings and everything like that. But there was a roadblock next to my apartment, like, all the police, and it was cautioned off and stuff like that. And we had basically just picked them up, avoided it, and we're like, I wonder what happened. It was probably, something probably happened. Someone got shot, some. You know what I'm saying? We didn't think too much of it. Went to our meeting room, got there, and then I remember our coach just telling us, my position coach specifically, he was just telling us, you guys, make sure you guys look out for one another because we're a family. You know what I'm saying? If you don't see someone here, call them or let someone know. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just not see someone and then not say nothing about it. And me as the leader of the group, I'm just like, what do you mean, coach? Like everyone's here. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, nah, someone in a different position group didn't show up, and it happened to be Cam. And he was just like, I'm like, what do you mean he didn't show up? And he's like he hasn't been to meetings. And I'm like, oh, he's probably like at home sleep or something. Like he probably just overslept. It's his first day traveling or something. And he was like, nah, no one's heard from him. He left early. His roommates haven't seen him, this, and the other. And that's when I informed him, like, hey, coach, like, there was caution tape by my house or whatever, but I doubt that's him. Maybe you guys should look into it. And they end up looking into it. And unfortunately, it was him. So
how did that hit the football? Because I mean, it hit waves from San Jose. I remember talking to Javelin about this. It hit waves all the way from the Bay Area all the way here to Vegas, and then nationally, of course. But people don't understand that's a busy intersection right there. They don't
definitely.
They don't know. People don't stop there. But from a football team perspective, you guys canceled your football game, right?
Yes, sir.
And was that a decision from the team captains and the coaching staff, or who made that decision?
It was mainly from the leadership council. Us as a leadership council met, and we basically talked about what was best to do for the team. And we felt like it was best to not play and to let everyone clear their heads and kind of cope and grieve with one another, not by themselves, but one another. So we felt like that was the best decision as a team, and that's the decision we decided to go with.
Yeah, tough thing to grasp. And it's funny, you watch the news and you never think it would happen to you or you'll be affected by it, and then boom, it happens. So that's life hits you hard, and never take a day for granted, that's for sure. So
Exactly.
Yeah,
Long live Cam.
thoughts and prayers go out to him, man, for sure. All right, we're gonna wrap this up on a positive note. We're gonna talk about the 2-minute drill. It's a game of this or that. I didn't do it with you at the East West Shrine Bowl because it was kind of quiet in there, huh? Like it was
Yeah,
kind of
it
like
was a little quiet. It was a little quiet in that room.
it felt like we were in the library and like no one was there. We're like
Yeah.
studying for an exam.
But then it's all these other people passing and stuff like that. But it's still a quiet, like kind of like awkward room in a way.
Bro, you can hear someone fart in that room, bro. It's so quiet.
Yeah. It was quiet.
All right, let me just go ahead. I got jokes. No, but it was all fun. It was all fun. It was good that it was quiet because I can get the interview and the audio was on. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the 2-minute drill. It's a game of this or that. So you say the first thing that comes to your mind, and it's really fun. So I'll give you like a topic of burgers or pizza, and you say the first thing that comes to your mind. Right? You ready for this?
Say the first thing that comes to my mind when you say that.
I'm gonna get it's gonna be random as hell. So I'll give you 2
All right,
things,
bet.
and then I'll ask you why you picked that. All right.
All right.
All right. This is getting to know Nehemiah in the 2-minute drill. Let's go. BEASTwriter 2-minute drill, I should say. All right. Hot dogs or burgers?
Burgers.
Why?
They taste better.
Ooh. Cheeseburger?
And you could put cheese on it. You don't really put cheese, like a slab of cheese on a hot dog for real, unless you got chili with it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. All right. Lobster tail or crab?
Crab.
Ooh.
Crab. Lobster, I know it's a little more fine and, a little more expensive, but it's too fishy for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's too fishy. Like, I don't know. I've never been a lobster guy.
I think it's the opposite. I think crab's more fishy than lobster.
Nah, lobster's for sure more fishy.
Right.
The only thing, yeah.
We're gonna make a video about that. We're gonna go to a lobster spot and a crab spot, and we're gonna make a little reel out of it in the TikTok, and we'll go viral.
Yeah, let's do it for sure. Let's do it.
All right,
make that happen.
All right, we're pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Okay, you're on the right track. Netflix or Disney Plus?
Netflix.
Okay. What do you watch on Netflix?
I watch everything. I watch the best movies. I watch the best shows. Breaking Bad, Queen of the South.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that's popping. Outer Banks. I watch it all.
Have you seen Night Agent yet?
Night Agent?
It's new, bro. You gotta check it out.
Nah, it's good.
It's good. It's like number one
I'll go
right
check
now.
it out. I'll go check it out.
Night Agent. Yeah, look it up. I think it's number one on trending on Netflix or something. How about Squid Game? You watch Squid Game?
Oh yeah, I watched that. That was
bro.
good.
When's season 2 coming out? Do you know? I don't know.
I don't know, but it need to come out though, because when I was watching it, it was some pressure.
Bro, I'm thinking the main character. I know that no one's saying this, but
yeah,
if I had to theorize, I'm thinking like maybe they're holding off because the main characters want more money. So they're like, nah, man, we're
probably.
Right?
They wanted. They for sure do. Yeah. I mean, they probably didn't think it was gonna be as big as a hit as it was.
Yeah.
And everyone started watching it like, ooh, it's some.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, Apple or Android?
Apple.
Okay.
Blue messages only.
There you go. Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Oh, what's your favorite sweet things to eat?
Everything.
Donuts?
Everything. Donuts, smoothies, anything that got like a sweet kick to it, I'll mess with it for sure. What's
your favorite candy bar then?
Oh, I don't got a favorite candy bar, but my favorite candy is like the Kazoozles. They like the sweet tart ropes.
What the heck?
They like sweet. They're like the sweet tart ropes. They're like red, and then they got the pink filling.
Oh, they're like the vine. Kind of like the vine.
They're like vines, but they're by like sweet tarts.
Oh, by
they call Kazoozles.
I've never heard of that. Now I'm gonna have to look.
I'm gonna put you on. Don't even trip. When I get out there to Vegas, I'm gonna put you on.
When you visit my crib, we'll do it, and we'll eat lobster, and we'll make movies and reels out of this, and it'll go viral. TikTok.
Oh yeah, most def.
All right, here's another one. Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Ooh.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, that's a good one. Christmas.
Ooh.
Let me take that back. Thanksgiving.
Okay, tell me why. Tell me why you say Thanksgiving.
I say Thanksgiving because it's more of a time where you're focused on what you're thankful for as opposed to just giving gifts out. And you know what I'm saying? Everyone's just happy for gifts. And Thanksgiving, you guys get to have a good meal, all come together and, talk about what you're thankful for and what you're grateful for in life.
There you go. I like Thanksgiving because the food, number one. By the
Yeah,
way,
for sure.
I don't know at your house, but like my family, we do fried chicken or fried turkey.
Uh-huh.
Do you do fried turkey?
Nah, we don't do fried turkey.
Oh,
I
have you
ain't
ever
never
had
had
fried
no
turkey?
fried turkey. I haven't had fried turkey. I'm not a big turkey guy though. I like
No,
chicken. I
no.
like chicken and steak.
Okay, blah, blah. Hold on. I'm telling you, fam. I'm telling you, fried turkey is a game changer, bro. I'm telling you.
So what
Fried,
you're telling me is that I need to come over for Thanksgiving this year and go try some.
Yeah. We'll make
All
it
right,
happen.
for sure.
Fried turkey is moist. The reason why I don't like turkey in general because it's not moist. It's dry as heck.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not moist like chicken. You fry that turkey, it cuts the time in like half, if not a quarter. And I'm telling you, it's glorious, bro. You have that with like mashed potatoes, gravy. You get the works.
You can't forget the candy yams.
Oh, you candy yams? I don't like candy yams, but I know everyone that
you tripping. You gotta have my mom's make them for you. That's what it is.
Is brown sugar in it?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. I like that. I like that though. All right. Now I'm getting hungry, bro. All right.
Yeah, me too.
Here's another one. Micah Parsons or Aaron Donald?
Oh, Aaron Donald. Micah Parsons, don't get me wrong, Micah Parsons is hard, but Aaron Donald, he a different type of beast.
Yeah. What do you like about Aaron Donald that makes him a different type of beast?
He was underestimated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's a smaller guy, especially for playing a D tackle. What is he, like 6 foot, if that?
Mm-hmm.
And he be out there dogging people. And he just has this different type of tenacity and intensity for the game that no one's stopping him.
It's very true.
I love him on my D line.
Yeah, he'd be a monster. He makes everyone better by default.
Exactly.
You literally have to triple team him. You have to double team him.
You have to triple team him.
All game. Yeah, and they have to have a running back there to kind of seal off in case he gets through the double team, which he will most likely will at least penetrate that line. And then if he sets up on the edge, then you're going to have a tight end chip him off the line of scrimmage before he runs into his route. It just changes the game. It changes the whole
there ain't no tight end stopping him. Exactly.
It's so crazy to watch him, dude. It's fun. I like Aaron Donald. I thought he was going to be a beast coming out. I thought he was going to be a Pro Bowl player. In fact, he was ranked like number 4 on my big board back in 2014. But people were saying, oh, he's small. But I was like, no, like I said, dynamite comes in all shapes and sizes, dude. Like this guy's just built different. And he's strong at the point of attack. He isn't going thrown off his grass. And like you look at the tape in the film, it's like this guy does not move. Like he can move forward. So like it's just amazing.
Yeah, he's a big guy that can move and explosive, strong. He has all those intangible abilities you talk about.
Yeah. All right. Here's a last one. Sauce Gardner or Patrick Surtain Jr.?
Oh, that's hard to say because Sauce is coming off obviously amazing rookie year. I mean, there's no doubt about it that he was out there balling and doing his thing. But at the same time, Patrick Surtain does have a little more experience. So I feel like you can't go wrong with either one of them. But if I'm going to choose, I'm going to go with Sauce, me personally.
Do you think if you were just a GM and to start a franchise and both those guys are on the board, like let's say you're the GM, you have the first pick, but you have to go cornerback. The owner says, you know what? We need a premium cornerback, a true shutdown cornerback. Who would you rather take, Sauce Gardner or Patrick Surtain today if the draft was held today? Knowing what you know.
I'm going to take Sauce Gardner because he's longer. He's longer, and I feel like he can definitely affect the pass, the deep ball, and the quarterback got to put that ball on the money if you want to get it completed.
It's a tough one, huh?
Yeah, it for sure is. Because I seen Patrick Surtain play up close and personal when I went to to one of the Chargers games last year. So.
Oh, the Broncos Chargers game?
Yeah, when the Broncos played the Chargers, and I got to see him up close. I'm like, dang, he's bigger than what I thought he was.
His dad played in the NFL. You know that, right?
I did not know that.
So Patrick Surtain's father. I'm old, bro. You wouldn't know that because I'm old. This is I'm showing my age here.
You look young though. You look young, so it's all good.
You keep me young. So check this out. So I remember going to the games at Candlestick Park, watching the 49ers, and the Miami Dolphins came to town. And this is when they were pretty good. That Zach Thomas, that guys like Aaron Taylor. And and they had two boundary cornerbacks, and they were on the smaller side. They had Pat Surtain and they had Sam Madison. And Pat Surtain Sr. I'll be honest with you. Pat Surtain Jr. is better than Pat Surtain Sr., but you could tell like he's fundamentally sound. So when I was watching, being a Roll Tide Roll fan, watching Pat Surtain's film, I was like, man, this guy is going to be a Pro Bowl player from day one. And so just looking back at what he has accomplished, the sky's a limit for him. He could be like, honestly, I think Pat Surtain could be a Hall of Fame player. I think he's that good, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
That good.
Yeah, for sure. The sky's the limit.
All right, here's one for you. What's up, G? Or what's up, G says Darrelle Revis or Deion Sanders?
Deion. Oh, no taking anything away from Darrelle, but come on now. But when have you ever seen a safety or another corner pick off the ball and they pitching it back to another player, trying to help him get paid? You know what I'm saying? Like that just goes to show the testament, of how good Deion was. Anytime he touching that rock, it's damn near going crib. So gotta go with Deion.
I would say Deion Sanders too. He's my favorite player of all time. All time Deion Sanders. I got to see this guy front row and center at Candlestick, because my family had front row season tickets to Niner games since '91. And so on the 20-yard line, I saw Deion Sanders. This guy, like you said, it's just amazing. And then he's high stepping. Actually, my coach for bodybuilding, my first coach for bodybuilding, played with him at Florida State, and he would tell me stories that like till this day he's not joking. Get this, all right? You know how you guys warm up, right? You guys do the warm up drills and whatever, and you kind of jog or whatever. So what they would do is they would actually race. Right, they would actually have these sprints like, "Oh, I'm faster than you," and Florida State's a track star, freaking powerhouse, right? It's Florida State,
all of Florida,
exactly. So Florida State, Miami, you get it. So like, my coach is fast, like he can run like a 4.3. Okay, so like he was like, "Oh, Deion says, I can beat you guys. I can beat all you guys." He's like, "Oh, and I'll do it backwards. I'll run backwards." He beat them backwards, bro. I was like, "You're lying." He's like, "No, dude." He's like, "I will remember. I will always remember that." And he's like, "He beat me, bro. Like he's fast, backwards. Like you're talking about backpedaling. But, you don't have to get low. You don't have to be low. You could just like whatever." And he was like booking it. That's crazy, huh? Isn't that a crazy story?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Deion was fast. You can see it on the film. I mean,
that's crazy.
It's a crazy story to kind of visualize it, but I wouldn't doubt it.
I still, till this day, I was like, "Are you sure, coach? Backwards?" He's like, "Nah, backwards." I was like, "That's crazy." Like, that's nuts. Anyways, if anyone can do that, if there was video footage, like a YouTube video out there back then, that'd be awesome. But until then, it's a myth for now.
Yeah, it's a myth until one of us asks him.
Until one of us asks him. Now, I don't remember if he said that Deion had like maybe a 10-yard head start or a 7-yard head start. Maybe, because I want to say he did have somewhat of a head start, but still running backwards against a 4.3.
Running backwards, exactly. That's still crazy.
That's still
like you should not be able to do that as a human.
I know. Well, that's why Deion's prime time.
Yeah, prime time. Game time.
I think we had a lot of fun. I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. We're about 53 minutes in, but Nehemiah, thank you so much. Is there anything? Where can everyone find you? What do you have coming up from here on out? Like, I want people to know where they can find you on social media. Obviously, I plugged you in on Instagram as well. So where can people find you at and kind of follow your grind?
Find me on Instagram at Nehemiah 1K. So Nehemiah, my first name, the number 1, and then K. Twitter, Nehemiah S_. And then if you guys do play PlayStation or anything like that, any kids on the stream, it's Nehemiah 2K.
All right. It's Nehemiah 2K. Hey, by the way, before letting you go, you talk about video games. Have you ever played NFL 2K before? Not Madden.
NFL or NBA?
See, bro, you
said NFL 2K. I ain't heard that one.
Yeah, you know why? Let me tell you why. Because EA Sports brought out the rights for the NFL licensing when NFL 2K. This is the game that you should look into. NFL 2K, till this day, 20 years later, they haven't made a game in 20 years. It's still better than Madden today. Guarantee. Go look up NFL 2. Go YouTube.
So is it a half football, half 2K?
No, bro. It's like NFL 2K is the series.
Oh,
it's like the game series. So ESPN, it would have ESPN had all, bro. It was the best game ever made. And then EA Sports bought the rights for NFL licensed simulation games, and everything just kind of went. It's just updated rosters every year. That's all Madden is. It's updated rosters. You don't see.
Yeah, for sure.
okay, compare that what you see today with Madden, and then look back and look up NFL 2K. Just look up NFL 2K series, and you will see what I'm talking about. Like the graphics, the animations, it's top notch.
Is it better than NCAA 14? Remember when that
Oh,
NCAA was still playing?
oh yeah, because they don't have NCAA games anymore.
I ain't got it. I used to be like that. That was my favorite game in the world growing up.
Oh, was it?
What I used to really be like that. I was ranked like 300. But I still remember I was ranked like 314 in the nation.
Wait,
Like, bro, I
what?
used to play nonstop when I was a little kid. NCAA 14
Yeah, I
on
remember.
PS3. I used to play all the time.
That's crazy.
I still remember the ranking because I used to really check all the time. Be like, okay, I got to get better than this dude, that dude. Like I used to be competitive in everything I did. I still am.
See, that's crazy. See, you're competitive your whole life. Again, genuine, authentic, and true to that competitive nature. That's just you have it. You have that, man.
Yes,
so
sir.
that was Nehemiah Shelton. Nehemiah, I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun, and we'll be having you on more as the draft process goes on, because I think people need to know your story and what you bring to the table. Because at the end of the day, it's like I thought it was interesting that you ran your 40 when a source told me that was familiar, that because you didn't have the fastest 40 time, right? Just be 100%, but you had a hamstring strain. So I think, and you still ran it, and you never complained. You just ran it. So I think no one really knew that. No one knew that about you. And so that's why I wanted to cross check with you to see if that was true. Cause I was like, man, that's crazy. Cause how many people would actually run a 40 knowing that they're injured? Be honest.
Probably not a lot. Not a
lot. Seriously though, right? I wouldn't.
Yes, sir.
I'm joking. I probably would. I'd probably be like you and run it. If I had one leg, I'd probably run it. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly. You got it. Sometimes the job needs to get done. So you need to go out there and put your best together.
All right. Well, that was Nehemiah Shelton. Nehemiah, thank you so much, my man. And we will hit you up. All right. That was Nehemiah Shelton, everyone. And Nehemiah. Oh, he caught out.
No, I'm right here. I'm right here.
All right, there you go. Nehemiah was over it. He's like, man, this interview is over.
Nah, someone had called me. I had my phone do not disturb. I don't know why it went through.
Oh. No, but we'll let you get going so you can take that phone call though. We pretty much wrapped it up. And again, if it's okay with you, we'd like to have you on more often. Because again, we want to share your story, being from the Bay Area, growing up in San Jose, obviously playing for the Spartans, and then obviously your journey. So let's stay in touch. Obviously, we're gonna stay in touch. How would we not stay in touch, right?
Exactly.
But let's stay in touch on YouTube, on the DOB show for the followers, so they can kind of see your grind. And I think that's really important because not too many people see the stuff that really no one really talks about, like what it takes to even be in your position in the first place. Like there's a lot of hard work involved in that. So
a lot of hard work that people don't see behind the scenes.
They just see this. They just see us on YouTube but there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that go on. So thank you so much, Nehemiah, for taking time, bro. And we'll be in touch.
For sure. Appreciate you for your time. Thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone that tuned in.
All right. That was Nehemiah Shelton, everyone. All right. So we are about to go ahead, and there's some comments in here in regards to what we're doing as far as, let's see here. There's some comments in here that I have on Facebook in regards to news that came out on Jalen Carter being taken off the Raiders board, and then Vinny Bonsignori. Well, first Vic Tafer said that the Raiders have taken Jalen Carter off the board, and then Vinny Bonsignori said basically that's not true. I just talked to Coach McDaniels, and they're bringing him for a pre-draft visit right here across the street at Raiders headquarters. So, who do we believe? I'm joking. No, but seriously, that is kind of like I'm going to say this. Both of them give, and the question was asked, like, who's better? Who should we follow? Look, they're both good. They wouldn't be the positions they are in if they weren't at the top of their games. Like, those guys are good. The question I have is not so much a question, but I talk about it all the time in the DOB. You have to sift through the smoke. Like, No one in their right mind is going to say, oh yeah, we're going to take that guy off our board. Why? And I tweeted this out. My analysis, how long ago? I tweeted out, and I also talked about it right when the incident happened. I said, he's probably not a good fit for the Raiders simply because he pleaded no contest, right? Like that is a real thing. Like you can't just go out and say that's not a real thing. Even though he's the best player available and at 7, I would think that would create a perfect storm in terms of what he brings to the table on the field. No question about it. Right? They need a defensive tackle. He's the second best player in this draft class based on my grading system going back 3 years. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, there's this off-field thing hanging over your head. Is it worth it? Especially in Sin City. Talked about this, a month ago? Sin City is Sin City for a reason. They don't call it Angel City, right? So there's a lot of distractions that can possibly take place. That being said, here we are. They're not going to take him off their board. Obviously, that report has already came out. And the reason I say that you have to sift through the smoke is because if you're a GM, you would be devaluing your number 7th overall pick, because if there's a high demand for Jalen Carter, wouldn't you want to hide that interest, pretending that you're interested, even though you're not interested, like the reverse psychology in the game of Texas Hold'em, because you don't want to show your cards. If you do that, you're devaluing the draft pick, diminishing the value of the pick at number 7. So, of course, if I knew that teams behind me needed a defensive tackle, interior defensive tackle, and Jalen Carter was sitting there at 7, I would be like all in on Jalen Carter. Be like, oh yeah, man, I want Jalen Carter. Elevate his stock. Oh, the Raiders might draft him. Let's try to swing a deal. Maybe we can give up the farm for the second best player in this defensive draft class. Or if they really are interested in Jalen Carter, you can go that route too. But either way, I don't think you simply take a kid off a board. Like, remember when Robert Nkemdiche, all right? People are, who's Robert Nkemdiche? Go look at what the Arizona Cardinals did. Steve Keim, right? Steve Keim drafted the Ole Miss product. He was valued as a top 10 value product coming into the draft in terms of going into that year where he declared. He had off-field issues. And so when you have those types of issues and you bring the legwork and you bring it in for a top 30 visit, as they call it now, even though it's not top 30, it's kind of like a pre-draft visit at this point, you kind of want to say, okay, so are they bringing him in to really do diligence on him, or are they bringing in just to kind of elevate his draft stock? I mean, it could go both ways. Ideally, it's Jalen Carter. So you're going to be interested in Jalen Carter. I would leave no stone unturned. I would bring him in for Raiders headquarters right over here and say, hey, look, like what happened with why'd you plead no contest? Oh, okay, whatever. But at the end of the day, once you plead no contest, we all saw what happened with Henry Ruggs. Come on. I'm a big Roll Tide Roll fan. I mean, that wouldn't be I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's going to happen with Jalen Carter, but I mean, look, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Ted Cunningham says, everyone should know it's lying season. It is lying season. Absolutely. Absolutely lying season. If you like this, give this video a thumbs up. Give this live stream a thumbs up. Also, if you would like to support the channel, go ahead and send me a super chat or a super sticker. It definitely helped me out. Also, we are running a DLB giveaway for everyone who does. So if you don't follow me here on YouTube or watching on Twitter and don't subscribe to the channel or whatever the case may be, you won't be entered for these Raider giveaways. And it's funny because there's like trolls on Twitter. Oh, it's a scam. It's fake. Really, bro? Like, I don't think I'd be in the position I am today if I was fake. I'm 100% real. And obviously I post the winners. So the only thing that's fake is your fake avatar and the trolling account. And then, yeah, so let's keep it 100. Let's just keep it 100. All right. It's really interesting. Detailer says, yo, Beast, do you see Nehemiah falling to the Raiders? It could be a real possibility that Nehemiah Shelton could fall to the Raiders. Look, there's a lot of teams interested in him. Falcons are very high on him. 49ers, we just talked about the Chargers, Raiders. I would love to see Nehemiah Shelton with the Raiders. I really do. Again, he talked about iron sharpens iron mentality. What did I talk about this time last year about what the Raider way embodies, right? Before Coach McDaniels and GM Dave Ziegler even talked about what the Raider way was, I already identified those parameters. Fast forward to today, here we are. So that's why I interviewed him at the East West Shrine Bowl, because I saw the iron sharpened iron mentality. And then when I interviewed him, he just confirms that. So that's why you go through the interview process in the first place, right? From a talent evaluator standpoint, because you need to know the questions to ask in order to formulate the analysis that you need to say, hey, this guy's a scheme fit, this guy's a cultural fit, or the case may be. There's different dynamics and parameters to putting stock on a player. It's not just the on-field production or watching game film or grading the snap, not the box score. A lot of different parameters go into it. And so I think when you look at all those parameters, you're going to come up with an algorithm or a formula. You should have one. If you don't, you kind of have some basis for it. And then you kind of weigh out the pros and cons and whether or not that player should be valued at certain rounds, right? Based on any given draft. That's how you do it. That's how I do it anyways. And that's a lot of work. No one wants to take the time to do that more times than not. What's up, GC? Teams have to learn for the 49ers drafting Reuben Foster. Hey, don't hate on my guy, Reuben Foster. That's my boy. Roll Tide, roll. Yeah, Reuben Foster was. Look, I check out the Beast receipts. I like calling myself when I get it wrong. But I remember right after Reuben Foster got drafted, I said, man, you guys killed the draft. You guys traded back up in the first round to go get Reuben. Right after that pick was made, had a conversation with John Lynch. I thought it was a great pickup. And then when I interviewed Reuben Foster right after he got drafted, and I said, hey, do you have to look? Let me go back and see what I had to say. I talked about him playing with a chip on his shoulder, and everyone was like, oh, is that no pun intended? Because he obviously had a shoulder injury. I was like, no. Are you playing with a chip on your shoulder because he was valued as a top 10, 15 pick? And then obviously, you know what happened at the combine. You said, you don't know who I am, and so forth. But hey, man, the guy had swagger, and he was a player. But could he stay injured? And there's a lot of off-field stuff that happened. I know. But at the end of the day, the Beast receipt's out there. I'm going to try to read that transcript for you because I still have them saved. That was a long time ago. Reuben Foster. All right, let me look it up. I think it was 2017. You pull that. Coming from the San Francisco 49ers, yeah. All right, let me try to find that for you guys because I think it's interesting. See? Here we go. Oh, it's right here. Boom. Oh, here's my interview with Reuben Foster. All right, here we go. All right, here are the questions that were asked by the beat writers. Basically, what happens is we're at Levi Stadium. Our office at Levi Stadium. It's kind of different setup from the Raiders. We actually have cubicles and nameplates and everything, but same format, right? And so we have nameplates at the Raiders now too, but same exact format as the Raiders. So I've been told. So basically, once a player gets drafted, you get to go on a conference call with them and you get to ask them questions. That's how it is. So people are asking me, am I going to do a live stream on draft day? This is the first live stream I won't be doing live since COVID, simply because I'm now covering the Raiders as a beat writer. So I have to be here at Raiders headquarters, right down the street. So I will not be able to do live streams, eating pizza with one hand, doing curls in the other for every correct pick. That got a little bit tiring. You guys knew I almost threw up. The last 3 drafts I started doing it, and it sucks being right sometimes because you'll throw up while eating round table pizza. But now it's going to be Grimaldi's. Love Grimaldi's pizza. Love it. But no, getting back to those questions on Reuben Foster, check this out. Back in 2017, April 27th, we're going to go. This is a question that was asked, not by me. A beat writer asked, what kind of impression did you get? And this is on a conference call with him shortly after he was drafted. What kind of impression did you get about the 49ers organization when you came here for a visit? See, notice, we said visit, not top 30 visit. It's a pre-draft visit. The top 30 visit to me is weird because if you're going to call it a top 30 visit, that means he's ranked in your top 30. Well, wouldn't that be the same as if you're at the NFL Combine and you had a 15-minute formal combine interview, you only have 60 of those? Would that be considered a top 60 visit or top 60 interview, or you just call it a 15-minute combine interview? Why don't we just call it pre-draft visit, a PDV? It's not a top 30. Anyways, he says, the question was asked, what kind of impression did you get about the 49ers organization when you came out here for a visit? Man, greatness, man. I'm trying to be the next former Patrick Willis, the next great linebacker in their history. Next question was, did you get a chance to meet Navarro Bowman? And what do you think about the prospects of lining up next to him? It'll be great, man. I'm going to learn from a great vet and just pick his brain and just be able to come in and make a big impact. Just working hard, man, just really showing them that I'm capable of just that I'm capable of and just showing my passion for the sport for real. Here's another question. How surprised are you to still be there at number 31 when the Niners take you? I was surprised, man. I was very surprised. I thought I was going to make it. I thought I wasn't going to make it, but I'm just happy that they just believed in me and just trusted me and to pick me and just give me a chance. So this is my question. People were started laughing at my question. Like I didn't mean to come off because I knew he had a shoulder injury, but it didn't resonate till after, like, oh man, like no pun intended. I said, do you have this is my question to Ruben Foster. Do you have kind of a chip on your shoulder knowing that you fell so far being the top 10 talent? That was my question to him. And he says, man, it's like I always said, man, turn a negative into a positive. I've got to just prove my fact. I've got to just prove my passion for the sport. I've got a chip on my shoulder. True. Yeah. I've got things to prove, big things to prove. I'll always remember that. That's one of the things I was just like, after I was like, oh man. But I asked that same question, and obviously Amik Robertson here with the Raiders says he plays with a chip on his shoulder. I remember asking Antoine Bethea. He says he plays with a chip on his shoulder, right? So I think every NFL player who gets devalued in their own mind is going to want to play with a chip on their shoulder. I mean, that's the common theme here. And so if you don't play with a chip on your shoulder, like Tom Brady, you don't think he plays with the biggest boulder on his shoulder? Of course. Like he flaunts it all the time. Like, yo, bro, like the Niners should have drafted me. Like, what are you doing, Bill Walsh, going after Giovanni Carmazzi at a Hofstra, who now just takes care of goats? People are like, what? Hofstra? Yeah, that university don't even freaking exist anymore. Who came out of Hofstra? Dave Fiore? Lance Schulters? I think Marquise Colston, too. Didn't he come out of Hofstra? Daniel Kim says, can you get the defensive end from Eastern Michigan on a call? His name slips my mind. That's my guy. It's another one of my friends, Jose Ramirez. Another one of my guys at the East-West Shrine Bowl. Yes, I will do that. I will hit him up on the next Blitz Pickup and see if we can get him in. Talk to him on numerous occasions, obviously. Talk to his coaches, got to know his coaches, what he brings to the table, and yeah, they keep it 100, right? Now, obviously, any coach is going to hype up the player because, I mean, but Nick Saban, Coach Saban, if you ever know Coach Saban, which I don't, but what I heard is he'll always tell you something, but it always comes with a but. This guy's good, but this guy does really good. Could be all pro, but there's always a but. And he keeps it 100. So good things about Nick Saban. Ask Quentin Williams. Quentin Williams, first team all pro, New York Jets. Got to know him a little bit at the Pro Bowl. Got to interview him. That was a fun one. Talked about pancakes, and he was surprised. How did you know I went to IHOP? Well, I know, bro. I covered the team. They didn't draft him, obviously. Ted Cunningham says, what grade number did you end up giving Peter Skoronsky? Well, Peter Skoronsky, again, I'm going to go ahead and review that game film for you guys. I graded 7 games so far. I still have to go back and grade a little bit more because I want to do as much legwork as possible. Because again, when I put up my beast receipts in real time, obviously leading up to the draft, things can obviously change, right? If you guys follow me over the years and covering the NFL draft, you guys know my mock drafts, my final analysis is not set until the day of the draft. So again, once that mock draft is set, once I know exactly, I gather all the information from around the league and what my thoughts are and sifting through the smoke. Because let me tell you something, a lot of people will feed you bull crap. Right? Like, oh, it's up to you to do the legwork and figure out what's real and what's not real, or what you want to put out and what you don't want to put out. So there's a fine line between that. And again, this is lying season. Like what Ted said, this is very much lying season. So I like Peter Skoronsky. I think, in my estimation, is he a top 10 pick? Absolutely. Now, do you view him as an offensive tackle or a Pro Bowl guard? That is the question. So again, it comes back around to where these GMs value that position of an offensive guard, just very much how they value Josh Jacobs being a running back here at the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, it's not a left tackle. It's not an edge rusher, so it's not a worthy position of being a highly prized premium position because we can find those guys later in the draft. But how many Josh Jacobs grow on trees? How many first-team All-Pros grow on trees? How many people lead the league in scrimmage yards grow on trees? How many people lead the league in rushing grow on trees? How many people lead the league in first downs grow on trees? With that offensive line. I'm not saying the offensive line is bad, right? I like Andre James. I like Jermaine Illuminor. I like all these guys, right? Colton Miller, Alex Bars, like these guys. Dylan Parham, of course. I like all these guys. Thayer Munford, like them, right? Like these guys. But look what Josh Jacobs did. He did more with less when you look at guys like Nick Chubb out of Georgia. For the Cleveland Browns, had Jack Conklin, and then obviously you have Jedrick Wills there, and you have Wyatt Tiller there, and you have Joel Petonio on the interior, right? So again, that's 4 out of the 5 linemen I just mentioned that are Pro Bowl players. How many Pro Bowl players are on the Las Vegas Raiders roster right now? Not saying they can't be Pro Bowl players, but realistically, let's look at the numbers. Analytically, how many do they have? So you're going to tell me that Josh Jacobs does not deserve a big contract at $15 million APY that I discussed earlier in a front-loaded deal? Already ran the numbers on the valuation for evaluation on Josh Jacobs. If you haven't checked that out, I'll repost it for you up on Twitter if you want it. Just drop a comment or leave me a tweet. Say, hey, man, I missed that Josh Jacobs tidbit, and I'll repost it for you guys. But yeah. On to 6 says, Beast, who has more talent, Jamarcus Russell or Anthony Richardson? I think Anthony Richardson has more talent than Jamarcus Russell. Now, looking back, that's an easy assessment to make because Jamarcus Russell never panned out, right? So it's kind of easy. That's why I say, like, when people talk about these prospects, oh, they're meeting with such and such. Oh, they had dinner with such and such. It's like, yes, that holds some weight, but if you do the draft long enough, you know that a lot of times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, there's some times that they'll do that to gain interest on another prospect, or they'll gain interest, or just maybe to get more intel on the prospect, or they hide their interest in another prospect. So you got to decipher all of that. That's a lot of legwork on that, right? I was talking to my friend who's one of the Buffalo Bill scouts, and good friend of mine. And so we were talking, and you know, there's a lot of smoke that's out there, right? Like, and no one in their right mind is going to give you the right information, including, like, he's not going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to be drafting this guy. Like, oh yeah, we took this guy off our board because he didn't do well on the board work. Like, no one's going to give you the answer to that. No one's going to give, dude, that's confidential information. Like, no one would give you that information. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to kind of sift through what's real and what's not. And a lot of it's just smoke and mirrors, man. Ted Cunningham, thoughts on Bama's Byron Young? He's a big guy, 2-down thumper. I don't see much of a pass rusher, I'll be honest with you. But I do like him in like a round. In any given draft, I would put a round 5 grade on him. Round 6, maybe. Maybe round 6. Round 5, round 6. Day 3 pick. Just being 100. Now, Byron Young's going to pancake me when he sees me if he gets drafted by the Raiders. Oh, you said I was going to be a round 5, round 6 pick. It's all good. It's all gravy, baby. Oh, man. All right, you guys have any questions on the whole not Jamarcus Russell, on the whole dynamic on what's going on with the taking Jalen Carter off the board? Just explained it for you guys. So watch, someone else is going to come up with that analysis. And, oh, write that down. So smoke screen, smoke screen, hide interest. Yeah, oh, they really don't say anything. Oh, AFC scout. Okay. NFC scout. Okay. Sift through the smoke. Oh, that's a good one. Man. All right, let me go back and circle through some of your questions on here before we let you go. Or if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and shoot them my way. We're here. I don't mind doing this for another hour, to be honest with you. I'll stay on for another 45 minutes to an hour. I didn't work out today simply because, Onto 6 Soldier says, well, let me get to your question first. There's another question here on Facebook, but yeah, I didn't work out today because I wanted to do these live streams. And these live streams are actually fire, man. Like, I like doing these live streams and I like engaging with you on this platform. Hopefully you learn as much from me as I do from you. And hopefully you learn something from Nehemiah when it comes to the film study, right? We talk about those different formations, down in distances, personnel groupings. I mean, this all plays a role when you get drafted. And so, like, when people say, "Oh, this guy was put up on the board," and he talks about the interception that he had, this is something that Trey Dean did with out of Florida. True, right? I talked to him. If you guys haven't caught that interview, and he ended up being the MVP of the game. I saw some guys, out there, and I was like, man, I got to interview these guys, man. And Trey Dean is a guy that no one's really talking about. I like Trey Dean out of Florida. I think this guy can be a real player. Now, Niner fans and River, oh man, now he just catch out of the bag. Trey Dean, let me write that down. Trey Dean out of Florida. Oh, he was really good at East-West Shrine Bowl practice. Oh, wait. I would scratch that. I wasn't at East-West Shrine Bowl practice. But no, anyways, Autistic Soldier says, Beast, is there a true number one shutdown corner like Sauce Gardner from this year? No, there's not. There's absolutely no true shutdown corner like Sauce Gardner in my grading system. I just don't see it. Now, I like Christian Gonzalez. I absolutely love him. Love Christian Gonzalez. He can definitely be a true shutdown corner. But here we are. Again, if you were to ask the same exact question and seeing, is he on the wavelength of a Sauce Gardner, I would say absolutely no. I would say go look at my Beast receipts from Sauce Gardner leading up to the draft and my grading system and how good I thought Sauce Gardner would be. Go back in the following year, because again, we're talking about the first team All-Pros, who obviously I have a vote being a Pro Football Writers Association member. But go back what I had to say about Pat Surtain coming out of the draft and how good he would be. Those two guys I knew were going to be All-Pros. I just saw it when grading the snap, not the box score. And people who say, oh, you just have to grade 5-6 games and then formulate that analysis. No, talk to any scout. I know a lot of them. Talk to any GM. 5 to 6 games, that's all you need to have a conviction of a player? Man, you're not going to be a scout. You want to leave no stone unturned. You want to get as much film. Like for me, feed the beast, right? Like I want to get as much film as possible to formulate that analysis, because what if those 5 or 6 games aren't comparing apples to apples in terms of NFL talented players? What if you're going against the MAC all the time? No offense against the MAC, but I'm just saying, what if you're going against not Power 5 conferences and all those 5 games will go against inferior talent? Like, does that convert like at the NFL level when you try to mark off the NFL traits? Because again, if it's like me going up against like some of these D3 kids, right? Like if I was like an NFL prospect, right, or a top prospect, it's like playing at Alabama, right? Like if Alabama played like a Division 3 school, of course, or Division 2 school, or whatever the case may be, it's like, man, is that a real true comparison? Oh man, like he has scored 7 touchdowns. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't really translate. So I think the best valuation versus evaluation on putting grades on the player is getting as much film as possible. And I don't think 4 or 5 games is enough. That's just my thinking. But what do I know? Check the Beast receipts. That's how much I know. And people will challenge that. Check the Beast receipts. Or go to the funny thing on Twitter. This guy's like, "Oh man, you're not answering my question." I was like, "Dude, everything's in the YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel. It's all in there for you. I'm not gonna spin my wheels. Oh, you're still not answering my question. Go to my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel. Go watch these videos." And I even put the videos up for him. And then he's like, "Oh yeah." It's like, "No man, like you out, bro. Block. It's a block party here in the DOB, man, because you're just not getting it." So there's people who are content creators with the Raiders, not Raiders reporters, who are asking me about my take on Jalen Carter. And I just provided that analysis. Hopefully they're watching, but probably they're not. But I'm just gonna say right now, like, yeah, man, like it's not really one of those things. But all right, there's 12 of us watching here. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, I am going to. Oh, Justin says, who are some day 2, 3 defensive tackles you like? That's a great question. I actually talked about that on 2 live streams ago. If you don't mind, go ahead and shoot that. I'll put the link up for you. I wish you can kind of link it, but I don't think you can. Here, let me just go ahead and put it up there. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or any of those other social media platforms, but I'll do my best to kind of put that out there for you. I talked about it yesterday on which defensive tackles they should target. Hold on, give me a second fast, and I'll go ahead and get that out to you. This is probably not going to do you any justice, but let me just go ahead and put that out there. So I don't know if you see that. It's basically a link. there for you. I put it up there on YouTube for you. Just go there, and it's up there for you. And that's where you can kinda get that. Jeremy Willett says, "What are your opinion on our biggest weakness on defense?" The biggest weakness has to be right now, just being 100% transparent, has to be the D line. Like, outs not talking edge rushers, all right? I'm not talking about Max Crosby. I'm not talking about him. But D-line, the interior, that's an issue because you don't have Andrew Billings there, right? You don't have Kyle Peko. We don't know what's going on with him. And you bring him back, in my estimation. You do have Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler, who I'm really high on. But you're gonna need more because we don't know what those guys can actually do yet, and that's not a knock on them, they just haven't given the real opportunity to kinda shine. I have high hopes for both those guys. I have high hopes for Matthew Butler, I have high hopes for Neil Farrell, both good guys, very smart. You guys know how they interview with me in the locker room, post interviews during the season. So, I'm in there every single day, right, inside that locker room. I talk to all these players every single day. So, for me, I think again, the transition from a player's progress is going from year 1 to year 2, not from year 0 to year 1. And so this is where you're really gonna see whether or not that stuff that we saw at the playing at LSU and Tennessee can convert. Now, I will have my good friend Andre Carter, who coached Neil Farrell over at LSU as his D-line coach, hopping on the show. He labeled him again as a lot of his work. So we're gonna be talking about all these different things when it comes to Andre Carter, what his thoughts are, and he admitted to me, he's, "Hey, Beast, man, like, yeah, okay." I said he kind of plays with a high pad level at times, right? At times, and that's with any young interior defensive lineman is trying to win the leverage game. And so he admitted, he's like, yeah, that's something he needs to work on, right? Is his pad level. So hopefully he can clean that up and still ID the ball carrier, make plays behind the line of scrimmage, something I talked about with Coach Graham about and hopefully we can see some of that, right, on the field, but it's hard to really gauge how well these players have developed. Again, you're talking about a good GM will develop the talent that he drafts, right? That's what makes a good GM. It's not who he signs in free agency because that's always in hindsight. "Oh, this player's good. Now we have to overpay for this player because now there's a demand for him." What about finding that diamond in the rough on day 2 and day 3, developing him, seeing that 2 to 3-year vision because these guys are on 4-year contract with a 5th-year option if you're a day 1 pick, and see how much they can thrive under your coaching techniques that you're trying to preach and teach on a consistent basis throughout practice leading up to the games, and then also transitioning all of that onto the field in spot duty, rotational duty, or even starting duty. So different layers of that, different parameters go into that. But at the end of the day, I think that those defensive tackles, for whatever the case may be, weren't given enough of the opportunities, maybe because, they didn't get enough done in practice, right? And so again, I'm not gonna go on and people are writing off Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler. I think that's the wrong logic, to be honest with you. Trust me, I've been doing this years now, covering the NFL and covering, going back to covering the Niners, right, since 2000, 2011, 2012. So here we are in 2023. It's one of those things where you really don't wanna write off a player too soon. But then again, at some point, that player has to start showing some progress. Otherwise, you're gonna be like Alex Leatherwood and be out, right? If you don't fit the scheme or if you don't do what's being asked of you. Now, again, it goes back to year 2. This is year 2. So I gave him the pass in year 1. Year 2, I wanna see what I saw. Right? To make them because the beast receipts are already out there. I like Neil Farrell. I mean, I don't mind putting my analysis on Neil Farrell in real time. I mean, the team traded up 2 5th-round picks to move up in the 4th round to get him, right? So they must have saw something in him to give up to yield 2 round 5 picks for a 4th rounder, right? And getting him. So again, same thing with Zeus White. People are all in this, but look at Zeus White's sample size to pull from. Yes, he didn't do much, but I mean, come on. Anybody who played competitive sports knows look, he didn't get very many touches, but then again, Josh Jacobs made it really hard for Zeus White to get any touches. So again, it goes back to what? It's all about growth and development. But again, I think this training camp, again, you guys love my training camp one-on-ones where I break down the fundamentals. People talk about scheme. There's no scheme involved. It's one-on-one. I thought that was hilarious. And players and scouts are like, what? No, that's one-on-one. That's mono e mono. I was like, no, tell me about it. Um, I'm gonna be posting those. And we're talking about fundamentals, right? Strictly fundamentals, how to win at the line of scrimmage, how to come off your grass, how to stay up, how to anchor, right? Are you just trying to win with a bull rush because you have no other pass rush move? Are you trying to counter? If you get beat on a vertical set or a pass set, can you recover in time? I can't wait for football. Can't wait for training camp. Jerry Miller says, "Do you not think we should draft Carter?" I'm not saying I don't think we should draft or not draft him. I think that the Raiders, being in Las Vegas, should be wary of drafting a Jalen Carter simply because what just happened. Like, you can't just dismiss that with a grain of salt. Like, look, right? This is the Raider. What's the Raider way then? If the cultural identity is doing things the right way, not saying that Jalen Carter doesn't do the things the right way, but being very well liked in the community and doing all the right things in the community, and then also trying on the field and being a good player like Max Crosby, right? Do you want having as good a talent as Jalen Carter is? Do you want to have that hanging over your head, knowing that at any given second, living in Las Vegas, crap can pop off? Do we want another Henry Ruggs incident? I'm not saying no, because Jalen Carter is by far. If he didn't have that, I'd say Jalen Carter at 7 all day, every day. There's no question about it. It's not even a question. Of course, Jalen Carter at 7, absolutely. But again, it comes with red flags. Or would you rather have a squeakier clean player, trade back maybe a little bit, add another pick, and maybe get a cluster of players that I talked about on Raider Nation Radio, like a Christian Gonzalez. Those are always not going to be around in number 10. How do you know that? Based on the GM's tendencies and scouting department and what they do and who they brought in free agency. Which mock drafts are you following? Who are you actually listening to? Go look at those mock drafts at the people that you're following and look how accurate they are in real time to hindsight. That's all I gotta say. I'll leave it at that. Jeremy Lewis says, Isaiah Polamau, what's your thoughts on him starting? I like Isaiah Polamau. That's my boy. That's my boy. Very smart. Obviously, he's the cousin of Troy Polamalu. And he learned a lot from him, trains with him in the offseason. And I think Isaiah, I have high hopes for Isaiah. I know they're very high on him. Good special teams guy. You saw what he did when he got reps in the base or in the sub packages. I have high hopes for him. He's another undrafted rookie free agent that I think is going to shine. I like Isaiah Polamau a lot. I really do. I really do. Yeah. It's just nuts, man. Oh. Anyways, all right, I think we're gonna wrap up this live stream. If you liked what I had to say, give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on all the social media platforms listed below, and we're gonna go ahead and keep things 100. So I'm gonna end this broadcast. I'm gonna end this live stream. I hope you guys liked it. Share it, like it. Also, we're doing a DOB giveaway, so be sure to subscribe to this channel so you stay up to date on all things Beast. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Have a good day. BEASTwriter out.